Welcome back to Elevation Perspective. My name is Mark, joined tonight with Frank Tropiano and Anthony the Heel Romano. We're talking wrestling tonight. Backlash is this weekend. Before we get into all of that, though, Anthony, it's been 7 months since you've been on the program here. We've missed you. A lot has happened in your life. You've moved, new job. First off, how you been before we get into all the wrestling chaos?
I've been great, fellas. I have one question for you two. Where's Backlash this weekend?
Tampa Bay, home sweet home.
Home sweet home, baby. No, it's been a great few months. I haven't been able to hop on with you guys. Sadly, there hasn't been a lot to hop on and discuss. It feels like, I've been paying attention, as you two know, in our private chats. I'm not in love with a lot of things that have been going on lately. I've been listening to the program. It doesn't sound like you two are too far off from the way I feel about things, but I'm doing great and excited to talk some backlash this weekend here in Tampa.
Before we get into the card, we can kind of do a general state of the union address here. Not a lot of great things are happening, kind of like you alluded to right there. We had some more releases this past week, including most notably the New Day, Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods. Frank, what did you think when you heard the news that the New Day have departed WWE?
This is gonna if we ever like gain traction, people are gonna come back to this part of the video and attack me for it. But I actually was did not care. I just thought that they ran their course, and if there were ever a time to move on, it felt like it was now. They're young enough that they could go somewhere else and do something. And they're Hall of Famers. They'll be welcomed back with open arms when the time does come. It's a shame that Kofi isn't a WWE guy for life. But other than that, like in terms of what I was feeling for like current day product, they weren't using them. It was really disappointing, and to no fault of Kofi and Xavier either. But they had the big thing with Big E, and it was awesome, and it tugged on everyone's heartstrings, and then they did nothing with it. I mean, they had a title run, but it fell extremely flat, flatter than anything I've ever seen. Like Truth and Priest have had a better title run than that New Day title run, and can't even tell you they had a title match the other day, and I can't even tell you who they faced. But I don't know. It just to me it was good. Sometimes it is time to move on.
If I could just jump in, it's one of those situations where sadly it seems like the state of tag team wrestling in the WWE is on a complete downslope. I mean, a year ago, we are talking about, the SmackDown tag titles didn't get on WrestleMania, and they had a crazy ladder match on WrestleMania SmackDown or whatever you call it, and it was insane. And now the Motor City Machine Guns are gone. Obviously, Kofi and Xavier are gone. It just feels the White Six are gone. Half the MFTs are gone. Not that anyone cared about that anyway, but it's like, who are the tag teams? Who are we supposed to care about in the tag team division? I mean, you want to say that the Street Profits, they've made a valiant return the last couple of weeks. Great. Who are they about to feud with? I mean, the Judgment Days seems like it's no longer a thing, or maybe it is. I don't know. Maybe it's still going to keep going forever. But it's just a sad state of affairs as to what the tag team division is, to the point where it's like, what would they even be fighting for if they had something to do, and who would they be facing? So I hate to say I'm with Frank here, but I mean, maybe it is time for them to go do something else for a little bit. They'll be back eventually. We know they'll make a grand return at some WrestleMania moment or something like that, but maybe it was just time. Maybe it was time for them to go see what else is out there.
I'm a little surprised that you both have that feeling. I mean, I don't totally disagree because they weren't used, and when they were used, it was kind of like nothing stories with Austin Theory and Grayson Waller. Like there was nothing real going on there for sure. Like I don't disagree, but seeing, I mean, we should care more about Xavier, but seeing Kofi walk in the door, that hurt. I saw that, I was like, damn, 20 years, so many memories, so many Royal Rumble moments, so many Kofi mania. I was like, that seems like a guy that you don't let go, but. It seems like that's the state of the company we're in now with TKO. There's a lot of rumors that they're asking guys to take 50% pay cuts. Apparently, some guys did. People think The Miz might have done that. It's all rumors on the internet, but people are saying that some crazy things are being asked right now of these superstars. So maybe I shouldn't be surprised, but at the same time, I think Kofi was a real blow to me.
I think Booker T said it best, right? They asked him about Aleister Black, and he said, "Name one Aleister Black match that really stuck with you." And obviously, people did after that, and they got after him for that comment. But it's like, if these guys aren't being used in any interesting, particular way, go see what else is out there. I don't. It's like there's so little opportunities right now on this roster, and with the way that the shows are set up and the PLEs, there's like 4 or 5 matches on each card, and one of them is going to go to Danhausen every other time. Go see what else is out there, because there's probably nothing for you.
All right, let's look at this card now for Backlash this weekend, premium live event. First off here, back-to-back PLEs now. John Cena is confirmed for. He's going to make, I believe they called it a record-breaking announcement. They're kind of hyping this up to be something crazy. I'll throw it to you first here. Is this just a WrestleMania where it's going to be next, like a location? Like, what do you think this big announcement from John Cena could be?
Could be that. Could be some type of people were talking about Club WWE, like their new thing that they're trying to promote. If I had to guess, it's going to be something stupid that very few people care about. If I'm just going to be honest here, if it's the next WrestleMania location, that's interesting. It's still, unless you're going or like in that city, I still don't think that necessarily appeals to a lot of people. But I mean, the fact that we're still like 2 years away from that because we know next year's in Saudi, that it's like that's still like kind of not that overwhelming of an announcement anyway. So I don't know. I still don't have tickets. I am debating attending this weekend. A couple of friends of mine are interested in going. So I know that announcement got people hyped up and has seemingly driven some tickets, either up or people have gobbled up some of the tickets left, which is understood. People want to see Cena no matter what. Am I excited for it? I mean, if I'm there, it'll be cool to see him. But from a watching at home perspective, I'm sure it's going to be mostly a nothing burger. But who knows? Maybe they actually have something cool this time.
Frank, what are you thinking here for this? I just found the graphic. History-making news from John Cena.
So I've known that we were going to do this podcast for 2 days now. We discussed it yesterday. We're going to hop on. We're going to do it tonight. And for 2 days, I've tried to come up with answers to two questions that I knew you were going to ask. And one of them was this. And unfortunately, I have failed completely to come up with an answer. I go back to the same thing that the heel said. I think it's going to be something with that Club WWE. I'm seeing, you see the like promos for it every single week. And honestly, this just shows how out of touch that TKO is with everything because they're gonna get John Cena to announce it like it's like, oh, this is gonna change everything for superstars and fans. They're gonna get John Cena to announce this. This is like a top 5% of WWE, or like WWE fans can afford this. Like
I
for
just want to jump in,
packages,
Frank. Frank,
yeah.
for myself and for the viewers, what is this club W? Because I don't even know what you guys are talking about.
So the commercials are not extremely descriptive, but basically like it's you. I believe you pay for the subscription to then get offered tickets in advance and VIP packages in advance. Again, I this is not a clear understanding, and I just want to be completely clear on that. Like I have not looked into it because I cannot afford it. So
I did look into it.
okay.
I didn't find a lot, but when I was looking for tickets, there were tickets that were locked under Club WWE. You needed like a passcode. So I just Googled like what's the pass, like I didn't know what it was and I couldn't find it anywhere. So I just stopped looking into it. But I assume you're right. You have to subscribe to some, it's like, like a super fan subscription type of
Yeah.
thing.
It,
They just want more of your money, basically.
All right. It's interesting. We'll have to wait and see what the actual history-making news is. It does feel like it's gonna be like something like very corporate and silly like that we're not gonna care about, but it will be a big thing. They'll make John Cena give the whole corporate speech, whatever it might be. But we'll have to wait and see for Saturday. Into the actual match card now. First match I want to talk about here: Io Sky versus Asuka. Heel, you kind of started there. You're excited to see Io Sky. I know she's your girl. This feels like this final feud here, the final match of this very long feud between these two girls and Kairi Sane, who was released at the last round of cuts prior to the New Day cuts. So, what do you think happens here? Is this the final match between these two women?
Could be. I'm just excited to see Io Sky in a match again. I think it's insane that she was not officially part of the WrestleMania card. Someone who basically stole the show in their one of their main events or their women's championships last year. That was heavily regarded as one of the best matches of the weekend. Left WrestleMania with the title last year, and she was reduced to basically a cameo save spot for Rhea Ripley this year. Just kind of goes to show that I just don't love where the direction of the cards are going. You have two nights, you couldn't find a way to fit Io Sky in. I think that's a mistake. But anyway, she gets her spot here. In a non-title match, it's kind of like you said, just a rivalry blow-off match. Whether it's the last match between them or not, I have no idea. To be honest with you, I don't know if I really even care. It's just it'll be a good match, and I enjoy watching Io Sky wrestle, and I like Asuka too. So I'm personally just looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a solid match. It is also just disappointing that there's not much more at stake here. You have four singles women's titles now to me, there's just not an excuse to not have at least one of them defended on a PLE card every single time. If you're going to have one women's match and there's no title on the line, it's just kind of a bad look, but it is what it is.
That's actually a really good point. I mean, the mid card titles are kind of a joke with the women, but the fact that Liv and Rhea aren't on this card kind of feels crazy. Frank, what do you think about this match here with Asuka and Io Sky?
Listen, right now those mid card titles are in good hands, so I will say that you have Tiffany Stratton with the U.S. Championship, and you have Becky Lynch, who signed a contract to face Ruka. So I'm excited for that match. It's not happening on this card, I guess.
Nope.
Okay. So I misunderstood that. I thought the contract signing Monday was for this card. But either way, this match is going to be awesome because Asuka's awesome and Io's super awesome. So I'm just excited for a good match. Heel's right. Shame that there's nothing more on the line here. This probably would have been better if Kyrie could interfere, but she's gone now. I saw a lot of internet chatter saying that they think that she's going to be R-Truth. I don't believe that that's going to be the case, but let the people dream.
They do love repeating storylines, so it could happen. It could happen.
If you're heavy into listening to the rumors, then maybe that's what ChatGPT spit out for Triple H and in creative. But no, I don't actually think that's happening. I do think we're gonna get a great match. And are we doing winners? Because I think it's gonna be
Io
We're doing
Sky.
we're doing winners. You two are saying Io Sky. I'm going to say Io Sky as well. So that's a clean sweep. Io, it's always very interesting to me because we know that Triple H loves her from watching Unreal and watching different like interviews. Like Triple H loves Io Sky, and she's over. Whenever she's out there, the crowd goes crazy. But there still feels like there's some kind of disconnect there of her being like a top girl. Like we don't think of her in that same light with Charlotte Flair, with Rhea Ripley, with Jade Cargill, with the Bianca Belair. It's like the top of the top. She should be in that conversation because she's probably the most talented wrestler in the company. But I feel like there's some kind of disconnect there between like the actual like stature of Io Sky.
I don't want to do the whole repeating thing here, but it feels like it's a TKO thing. She's a wrestler's like she's your favorite wrestler's favorite wrestler. She's that kind of like superstar, and I don't think they think that she sells. I think that they're incredibly wrong, and I think she's been in that top spot, and those matches have been great, and people have loved them.
Listen, she left WrestleMania with the title last year, and they couldn't find a match for her. So
Yep.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Beyond me. It's beyond my comprehension.
That pretty much says it all. So clean sweep. We'll all take Io Sky to win this match. Next up here, we have Trick Williams taking on Sami Zayn. Trick Williams is defending that title he just won from Sami at WrestleMania. This kind of feels like another clean sweep here, right? Like Trick definitely wins this match.
I don't even think there's anything to talk about. Like we shouldn't even talk about this match because why is it still happening?
Gingerbread Man is dead, right?
Gingerbread Man is dead. If they want to do something weird and screwy, they're still leaning into like the Sami Zayn heel stuff. Like he is getting booed. Like people do not like Sami right now. He still has kind of some backstage stuff with Cody, like implying more like he's a bad guy now. So maybe they want to do something weird and put it back on Sami, but that feels bizarre.
My question is, and as a non-SmackDown frequent watcher, this might be more for you guys to answer, but is it people are not liking Sami Zayn or people are sick of Sami Zayn? Is it a feeling of he's getting forced down their throats at this point? Because it's like, to Frank's point, why are we doing this again?
Sami was cheered all the way up until one point, and that point was when he took the United States Championship off of Mello. Mello was having a great run. He was doing the U.S. Open challenges. It should have been him and Trick, as Mark had stated on one of our previous podcasts. They had the history. It was a layup type of match, and they put it on Sami Zayn for no reason. And listen, people were saying like Sammy Hogan, all that stuff. Sami didn't make this call. Sami didn't go and say, I need that mid-card belt right now at WrestleMania. That wasn't a Sami Zayn thing. That was a creative thing. So he's being unfairly booed, but people are pissed. People didn't want him in this spot. They wanted Carmelo Hayes in this spot.
I think it's a little bit of both. I think it's creative, and also I think people might just be tired of Sami Zayn. It's been a constant kind of like mid-cardy spot. He has been like a face and a heel. It's not the same exact character, but I also feel like since the Bloodline stuff with Sami Zayn, like nothing he has done has really mattered / gotten over. I feel like it's kind of just been limbo mid-card. He's had a few different programs of being like, no, I'm going to win the big one eventually. Then he always loses his matches. It's kind of like, it's tired. It's just a tired over and over story.
And that's why I'm picking Trick Williams, and hopefully we're done here.
All right. Another clean sweep for Trick.
Whoop that Trick, baby.
All right. This next match here, this will be our first probably divide of the night. We have Seth Rollins taking on Braun Breaker. Heel, I'll start with you here. Frank and I discussed it in the last show saying, where does this end? Is this like a three-match blow-off? When do we get like some kind of conclusion here with Seth Rollins, with the Vision? What do you see happening?
I heard you guys discuss this in the last episode. It's interesting. We got the Seth Rollins Roman Reigns tease this past week, which, if you're into that, you can probably assume maybe SummerSlam, that's where they might meet each other next. And if we're heading that way, then I feel like Seth and Braun probably have to be done with each other sooner rather than later. I personally am not super interested in seeing this linger more than maybe 2 matches with each other. This feels like if you want to reestablish Braun Breaker, he has to win here. I don't know if Seth necessarily needs this. Maybe you have Seth win this one and then Braun wins the next one and that's it. You're done with it. But, I know Braun is recently back. Even Seth is still somewhat recently back. So this really is kind of the first blow off that we're having with these two since the Seth turn, the Seth turned and then he turned again and all that stuff. Braun turned on Seth. It honestly gets very confusing with Division to keep up with who turned on who over the course of the last year or so. You still have Logan Paul and Austin Theory in the mix. Paul Heyman's obviously a centerpiece of all this. I don't know. I go back to last WrestleMania. We talked about the big story was Seth Rollins aligning himself with Paul Heyman, and a year later, that's already done. We're already completely done with that. Paul Heyman is now on Braun Breaker's side and the rest of the Vision. So I don't know. It seems like there's not really, to say long-term storyline would be a joke. I mean, that was basically a 4-month storyline with what they ended up doing with that. Obviously, Seth's injuries didn't help any of it, but I don't know, maybe 1 or 2 matches here. I don't know if I necessarily need to see more than that.
I agree with you there. For me, for a long time, the Vision has kind of fallen flat to mostly no fault of their own. It's been a really unfortunate series of events here with Braun Breaker getting hurt, Bronson Reed getting hurt. At a point, it was just Logan Paul and Austin Theory. Like that's tough when those are the two guys that are kind of backing the stable at that point. When it started off with 2 entirely different guys who turned on Seth Rollins, so it's been really tough how we gotten here. Frank, what do you think happens here? How do you feel about this match?
This one's really hard because I think Seth Rollins does win this one.
Oh,
Um, and the reason why I'm saying that is because I think they're going to kick the can down the line for Braun Breaker to eventually beat him. I don't think this is a one and done. There's too much smoke here for this to be a one and done. We have 3 more. I'm sorry, we have 3 events in the month of May for WWE. So just that alone tells me that I think that they're gonna at least extend this to Money in the Bank. Maybe they'll both be in the Money in the Bank match, and then it'll end at the pay-per-view after. Unfortunately, Clash is before. It would have been perfect if Clash was after.
I thought
And
Money in the Bank was later this year. I don't mean to cut you off, but isn't it like
you might be right. You might be right. I don't know. Usually it's Backlash and then Money in the Bank and then Clash. But I think they're doing Clash and then Money in the Bank this year.
maybe?
But it might be even farther back than that because I do remember that now that you say it. Something tells me Seth Rollins needs this win more than anything. He lost to Gunther. I think we can get shenanigans. I think we can get crazy. This is going to fuel Braun Breaker to be even angrier. And is Bronson Reed on his way back? Because I think that the best way that this feud ends is Bronson Reed, like all the shenanigans happen a second time. It looks like Seth Rollins is going to get away with it the second time. Bronson Reed's music hits, tsunami, 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 and then the ref finally gets up after the 4 or 5 tsunamis. A spear, 1, 2, 3. Bronson goes over. The Vision is whole. And I love the idea of that. But then, like, if the Vision is whole, don't you then have to go after Roman Reigns? Then it can't be Seth Rollins at SummerSlam. It has to be Braun Breaker at SummerSlam. So I'm just like a little confused. But look, that's a good problem to have, right? Because you also have Obafemi sitting there, just like the Obafemi Open Challenge is great for now, but I know he's going to win every single week. Like when Otis' music hit, and everyone thought it was Tozawa. That was funny. And then Otis came in, and Oba did some crazy things, but like he's got to get his turn too. So I don't know. There's just a lot going on right now at the top of the Raw picture.
you spoke about Bronson Reed again there. There's a few guys where the 3 of us, I feel like for the most part, share similar feelings towards certain wrestlers in WWE.
You're not excited for a Bronson Reed
Bronson
return,
Reed,
Mark?
I feel like he's the one guy that like divides us. For I feel like you two love him whenever like he's on the screen, and like this guy does nothing for me whatsoever. Like whenever he shows up, I'm like, all right, it's this guy again. And I feel like Frank and Romano are jumping around like
I'm on your
BVB.
side now. I'm on your side
You're
now.
on my side
As,
now.
as as Frank was describing that, all I could think of was like, "Oh, this sounds terrible. I really hope
But
this isn't
wait,
what happens."
okay, I don't. I'm not mad that you said it sounds terrible, but are you gonna tell me that that doesn't sound like exactly what could happen?
No. I didn't say
Okay,
that it
I
didn't
just
sound
want to. I'm
believable.
not. This is
I
not
firmly
me.
believe that's what they're going to do. That's exactly what they're going to do. I just, how much longer can we go with this stable and them do nothing? And you kind of hit it there. Are we going to go with Braun versus Roman? Great, then let's go that direction. But if it's just going to be they're going to run Monday nights every week and nothing actually happens with it, or every other member gets hurt every other week, at some point we have to come up with something else. And if Bronson Reed returning is the big payoff here, it's not good enough for me.
Frank will take Seth. Romano, did you take Braun Breaker?
I think I'm going to take Seth here too. Now that I think about it, as we've gone through this, I kind of don't really see a world where we get Seth versus Roman at SummerSlam. As we're going through the landscape here, it just doesn't make much sense. And I don't know. I just hope it's Obafemi. So I'm gonna go with Seth wins here, and maybe that leads to some momentum with, like, I don't know, like you said, maybe Money in the Bank or one of these. He can't win Money in the Bank again, but I don't know. Let him do something else and try and get back to the main event picture, but maybe ultimately fail or something like that. But I just don't see a world where we end up with Seth versus Roman. So give Seth the win, and then maybe Braun can get the rematch win, and that could be it.
Okay, I'll be different then. I'll take Braun Breaker. I think he can't take a loss right now. That's kind of where I stand with Braun. I think he loses. It's kind of like, then what? Like I don't think he's in a position where he can't take a loss. I don't think, for his character, for his credibility. It's going to be screwy. We're going to have Paul out there. We'll have the Vision out there. It's going to be a disaster. It's going to be a mess. Maybe Bronson Reed, who knows? But Braun Breaker wins this match. And to no one's excitement, at least on this podcast, this continues for at least a couple of months of these two feuding with the Vision involved. Seth Rollins will have the Street Profits or other guys involved on his side. It's not exciting, but I do think Braun Breaker wins this match. And lastly, here before the main event, the surprise, Frank, that you alluded to. You said you knew I was going to ask you two questions today. Danhausen needs a tag team partner taking on The Miz and Kit Wilson. There have been some wild guesses online. I've seen CM Punk. I've seen Stephen A. Smith. Like, there is such a wide variety of possibilities here for Danhausen's tag team partner. Frank, I'll throw it to you first here. Who do you have Danhausen teaming up with here?
So I went back and forth, and I'm just like, all right, he's placed the curse on both The Miz and Kit Wilson. And who is the one guy in WWE you don't want? It would feel like a curse if you had to step in the ring with right now. And my answer is Obafemi's not on this card. I think that's who he goes and gets. And I think he doesn't tag in. And I think Oba just kills the two of them. And I think it's just like a fun match for the fans. Oba gets to continue being dominant. He gets to be showcased on a PLE. This to me, I think actually, like, again, the kids love him. You see all the kids doing the walk and everything. So this will be like a good, fun thing for everyone. And then he can go back to being dominant on Raw on Monday.
The words right out of my mouth. It's Obafemi. It's got to be. It has to be. I would be very, very, very disappointed if it wasn't. I mean, if it's CM Punk, whatever, that's fine. But I think this has to be Obafemi. You have to capitalize on the momentum he has right now. And you do the walk, you get the crowd pumped up. This can be like the first or second match of the night, and just have it be, an Obafemi gasm, so to speak. But you got to have it. You got to make it happen.
While that would be fine and cool, we all like Oba, I don't think we're going that direction. I think this is like a full-on comedy act at this point. And who do we know that Triple H likes? Who do we know that from the Royal Rumble we're like, why is this happening? It was Mr. Iguana. I think Mr. Iguana comes out there. Yeah, I think we all sit there and like Danhausen does some weird stuff with Iguana. He comes out there, they win this match. Not excited about it, but I'm fully leaning into this being like a comedy weird spot where Michael Cole starts yelling like, "That's the Iguana," and like no one knows what's going on because it's like a weird thing in AAA that no one watches. But that's what I think is happening here. I think it's gonna be Mr. Iguana. I was trying to think of the most ridiculous, plausible.
If you're
outcome.
right, if you're right, and I'm in the building for this, the they will hear it from me. Let me just put it that way.
The boos raining down from section 322 are going to be relentless.
We couldn't really be more polar opposites there, Obafemi and Mr. Iguana. That's good. That's good for content. So
Listen, I will say this. It's Wednesday night, and we have no clue who it's going to be. So if we want to give bonus points anywhere, we'll give it to them. So
but now for the main event of Backlash, Roman Reigns defending his world title against Jacob Fatu. Before we get into the actual predictions of the match here, how do we feel right now? Romano, I want to hear it from you first. I haven't really heard your take. How do you feel right now about the current landscape with Roman back on top? Every Raw has ended with some kind of bloodline thing since WrestleMania. We kind of feel like we're in the past right now, but how do you feel about the situation?
I enjoyed Jacob Fatu coming out. I enjoyed his initial promo with Roman on that first Monday Night Raw. You know, it's tough for me to see the Usos back out there with him, to see Jacob and Solo's faction still going at. I mean, that to me is really disheartening to see us go back into this so
Yeah.
soon with Roman getting the title back. You know, I don't know what to think because there's a lot of chatter right now, and there's a lot of chatter around Roman Reigns, and I don't like to necessarily bring the rumor mill into it. And you know, I think a lot of there is more Twitter slop nowadays with regards to people's contracts, and especially this last week, given everything we talked about at the top of the show. Like, I don't know what to make of all of it. I don't think they would give Roman the title if he was truly about to leave in another month or two. So I don't think that that's what we're looking at here. But you know, if this is a quick title reign and we're really going to do it and give Jacob the title here, that would be pretty shocking. That would be pretty significant. And it would make sense why, you know, we're going right into the bloodline stuff because, you know, it involves Jacob. He was part of the bloodline and he never really got to have that blow off with Roman. So and no matter what happens, this is a match that we've been waiting for. I really hope that we're not just diving right back into the old tricks because we need something new. If you're going to go back to Roman here for an extended period of time, give us something that we didn't see the first time.
And you mentioned Solo there for a second. That's the most disheartening for me because we've seen the Usos do different things and they've been relevant. Of course, Jey Uso had the title run. Jimmy's done some interesting things as well. Solo Sikoa has not had any success away from the bloodline situation. He had the MFTs. It was kind of a joke. Half of them got released just now. There has not been anything captivating. He had the 6 month feud with the Wyatts. Like, there is nothing going on for Solo. And now we're putting him back in this bloodline situation. And unfortunately, that was the most interesting thing he's done since he left the bloodline. So I'm worried about him in that regard because he really should be close to a main event player by now consistently, and he's just not really there. But Frank, what do you think right now about the Roman Reigns Jacob Fatu match?
yeah, I mean, I think this really just depends on what's going to happen, you know, with Roman's contract. Like the heel was saying, if maybe it's all smoke, maybe he's filming another movie in June. He'll be around for SummerSlam. We're making nothing of it. We've gone months at a time without him, so going one singular month is not really that big of a deal. That being said, if he does drop this belt, the Usos are part of Jacob's bloodline. Like they have to be. Like now it's their Jacob's guys. They've been planting those seeds since the second the Raw after WrestleMania happened. They were kind of planting those seeds. So if they do it, pull the trigger the right way, make the guy look as ridiculous as they've made him look, taking out the entire solo verse before they all got cut, and go all the way in.
It'd be a massive power move if they did have the Usos turn and they gave that belt to Jacob. I just don't see it. I don't see anywhere Roman drops this belt right now. I know the rumors are out there. He got pulled from the Saudi show, I think. I think that's what you guys were alluding to. There's been some other rumors that TKO might have asked him to restructure his contract. I don't believe that for a second. He's the guy. He's the draw. So I'm taking Roman Reigns to retain. But if they were going to go crazy here and have the Usos turn and give that belt to Jacob, that'd be quite the power move.
Yeah, for sure. I don't believe it either. I mean, listen, if Roman Reigns is like out of this company in 2 months, that's it. I mean, that's like then TKO just took their investment, they rolled it up and threw it up in the trash. And I love Cody Rhodes, and I love Randy Orton, and I love Seth Rollins and Gunther and all the other
Femi,
all the
yeah.
other main event players. But if you're gonna take Roman Reigns and you're gonna say, "Hey, we need you to take a pay cut," and he doesn't show up half the time anyway, he's gonna laugh in your face. And he probably like if that was actually a question, he definitely laughed in their faces. That bravado that he puts on, like as a character, it's not character. That's really Roman Reigns, and you know that because he literally does not show up here all the time. And he said he was going to fix that because he probably felt they were going to pay him a lot more money. But if they came to him and asked him for a pay cut, then it's wraps. You know what I mean? Like it's over. We'll see him in the Hall of Fame in 20 years. I
Does
mean, that would just be the biggest disaster in like that would be the single biggest disaster in the history of the WWE.
does anyone have Jacob winning this match?
I can't fathom the scenario that I just laid out, so I can't. I'm taking Roman Reigns. Sorry, Heel. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you didn't. I'll take Jacob Fatu because I think that's what I want to see. I think WWE
Really?
needs. I think WWE needs something like that right now. I listen. As much as we can sit here and say, "Oh, wouldn't it be great to see Roman against so and so X Y Z?" What does that do? Because Roman can't lose to any of these people, and so it's like you're just gonna do the same thing for another year until next WrestleMania. It's stale. It's boring. He can still fight these other people and his one-off appearances. He can still be a part-timer, whatever the case. If you give Jacob the belt, there's at least a chance to spice things up. He's on Raw. It's a new show. Have him interact with different people. Have him fight different people. There's a chance Jacob can lose any given title match that he's in because he's not Roman Reigns. I think WWE needs to enter a period where things are just a little less predictable. And this would be the ultimate unpredictable move to take the title off of Roman Reigns, the first match he has after WrestleMania. I know it would seem like a total waste of everything they did at WrestleMania. And like, I don't like that. I don't like delegitimizing because I didn't get to talk about this with you guys. I think one of the best matches I've ever seen with Roman and CM Punk. I thought it was 5 out of 5. One of the best matches you'll ever see, one-on-one singles match. The fact that it was a clean finish, the whole thing, it was awesome. I hate automatically going away from the result of that and changing the title one pay-per-view after. But if they were to do it, I think it might be the healthiest thing they could do for the company moving forward.
That was well said. I think that was a very good take. I think that'd be crazy if it were to happen, but we have to wait and see. That's the end of our 5-match card, plus this John Cena history-making announcement. Anything else for us tonight, boys, before we call it a wrap?
One title match on a card is not acceptable. They got to do better.
Yeah,
they got to do better.
That's fair.
Trick Williams is a title match.
Okay, I forgot that match was even on the card. So 2, but even still, 2 out of 5. With the amount of championships you have now, especially with the women, there needs to be a women's championship match. 1. Give me 1.
Very fair. Very fair. All right, Romano, I hope you're in the building on Saturday. We can talk to you throughout. Hopefully it's a great show. Hopefully we're all really excited. We say it's a great backlash. But until then, thanks for watching.